This is the start of whatever episode this is. I think it would be. I'm pretty sure 81 is scheduled, and there's three more, or 82 is scheduled, so there's three more from last time. So this would be 86, but I don't want to. Who knows? So, um, first thing I noticed, and I just noticed in the beginning on my Kindle edition, it says also by Stephen King, and in parentheses it says Dark Tower related novels are in bold. Like, oh really?
What is that? What do you mean on?
In the beginning, also by Stephen King, in the beginning of book 7. Let me see if my paper edition has it, but it's also by Stephen King, and there's like 10 pages of other books.
Oh.
It says Dark Tower related in bold.
Oh, I thought you said Dark Tower books in bold. I was like, well, there's not that many of them.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, right? They're all Dark Tower books now.
Well, yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying.
Paper doesn't do it. So, according to, I guess, one of the characters in the Dark Tower.
Yeah, it's not in the paper one. I mean, the list is, but nothing is bold.
So Salem's Lot, The Stand, The Gunslinger, obviously, The Talisman, It. How is It related? Because Pennywise and Mordred are the same thing.
I was wondering that too, because I don't know that we've had a direct connection that I can think of besides Maine, but that's not enough.
Well, Maine and the Georgie's boat is mentioned in this one.
Yeah, that I thought was really weird.
I kind of liked that though.
Wait, I kind of missed that. I'm eating while we're podcasting. So.
It was very offhand. It was like it disappeared the way a certain boat disappeared, never to be seen again.
Out of this story forever, like Georgie's boat.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that. Well, yeah. Why did he do that? Fucker. I think. Yeah, there's a million fan theories, but nothing directly mentioned between It and Dark Tower. I think Pennywise is the Toad-Ass monster. I can say that now because I think we've progressed to that point, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think all the monsters in the Stephen King universe are Toad-Ash monsters. Were at some point, I should say.
Yeah, Pennywise is just one of the things in Toad-Ash. Good God.
Well, it is interesting thinking because I didn't remember the history of Pennywise the first time I read this. So now that we know that Pennywise has been, here since like the beginning, before the beginning of the universe,
right?
When it started, I don't remember.
He's buried in the ice with the thing.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense because I'm like, I guess Toad-Ash is probably eternal. So who knows how old these things are.
True.
Well, I never thought of that. Wow, yeah. Well, where did Toad-Ash come from? What the fuck is Toad-Ash? I'm not getting in all that.
What's the bad one? Prim? No.
Is the Prim bad? I thought Prim was just creation.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. What's the opposite of Gan?
Crimson King?
No.
Did you say no?
Well, I said, do we know? Like, has it been named?
I would have thought so. Like, we're talking about these two opposing. Haven't we been talking about opposing forces, or we have just been talking about the white? And I guess the Crimson King would be the opposite force.
Yeah, and is Gan the white necessarily? Like, I don't know. The Gan's all good. They're just more. I don't know. I guess because of the name, I just see that as more of a nature protect. The world protecting itself than necessarily good. It does what it has to do, whether that's good or bad. But I could be totally wrong.
Was potentially Stephen King was potentially possessed by Gan. I think it's meant to be good.
Definitely so.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Okay.
That like Gan was the white and Stephen King was the white adjacent.
Right.
Well, that's pompous.
Well,
I mean,
it's strange. It's like, but he is the creator. He is their creator. It's just like weird if you think about it like religion, and we all do. So, like, okay, what are you doing? And like, not that he created them because they're characters in a story.
I don't want the creator in the. I don't want the guy that wrote the book in the story. So far, it's working, but it's you got to be real careful, man. Rise of the Dragon. I think that is also Flag. It's been a long time since I read that one because it's like Game of Thrones for 10-year-olds. All medievally dragons and knights without a lot of the depth, but Flag is in it. He's like the evil wizard guy. Drawing 3 Wastelands, go figure. He does not put Needful Things in there, and I would make an argument for that. As well as the Dark Half. Anything with a bad guy can be Dark Tower because you can just call it Toe Dash. Needful Things is a book we have to do. I said that several times, I think, to you, Amber, at least. The shit, yes, and we'll get to that. Insomnia, obviously. Rose Matter, which Rose Matter and Gerald's Game, he wrote at the same time, basically, or he published at the same time. That was about like an abused housewife that, like, I think she disappears into a painting or something, and then like gets the evil husband trapped in the painting and gets rid of him. I don't know if that's spoilers, but who cares? It's 20, 30
Between
years.
that and Gerald's Game, I'm like, I know King wasn't abusing Tabby, so who did he know that was going through something?
Somebody, because wait till you read Sleeping Beauties. My God.
Oh, jeez.
That takes it. It's not about abuse. That book says, well, if we take away all the women, the men all kill each other.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well,
I believe that, yeah.
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure I'd want all the women to go away. Might be, well.
You're not sure? Would you consider it?
I mean, you would kind of be killing the human race if you did that.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Population would be difficult. And you'd have to be gay or love yourself a whole lot, I guess. Anyway, Bag of Bones, Wizard and Glass was next. Bag of Bones, which I like that book. Bag of Bones is like Dreamcatcher and Tommy Knockers. A lot of people don't like that, but it's like a like ghost. It's like a ghost love story almost.
Yeah.
Like his dead. Well, I'm not gonna say anything other than that. I don't want to, especially we end up reading it. There's a lot of books here. Black House, which is Talisman Part 2. I don't remember how Talisman fits into the tower. I have to.
I mean, maybe he's just saying because it's Richard Bachman. I don't know.
It's not. It's Peter Straub and Stephen King.
Oh, well, whoops. I knew it was not just Stephen King. My bad.
Right. Yeah. Real guy, not a fake pseudonym.
Yeah.
Can the pseudonym be fake? I'm not sure how that works. I don't remember how Bag of Bones or that. Talisman was about a kid. I think I told you how I related to it because I was 12 when I read it, and it was like a 12-year-old who has to go save his mom, and he travels to like alternate version of Earth where everybody has a twinner. So there's a version of like me in there, but it's a different me.
An evil
twin? What?
Is it like an evil twin or like just a different one?
I think it's not an evil twin. If you're evil, I think you're evil in both worlds. But certain people like Jack, who's the hero, the 12-year-old, are like, I forget what he calls them, but singletons. They don't have go back and forth really. They're the same person. But I don't know what that has to do with the Dark Tower. I have to look that up, I guess. From a Buick 8. I I think they're making that into a movie. And so I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally I almost got tired of it in like an hour, and then I was like, no, like now this is when all the good shit starts after an hour. Shit. I like what's her name too, Chloe Grace Moretz. Did I say that right?
Moritz, I think.
Something like that. She's good in that actor. I like her in the vampire one too. Let Me In, Let the Right One In, whichever one it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that a spoiler?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that like the plot.
I think that's the big secret of the whole movie, right?
Well, I don't know. I know it as a vampire movie, so.
Oh, then there you go. It's not a secret anymore.
She was a vampire. So.
Okay, so that's what he had. So that's the end of my list. So, I'm gonna. You can't see my air quotes, but we're now doing the last book of the Dark Tower. Last book is heavily air quoted there. The last of the original run, maybe is the way to say it. So, and it's dedicated to us. I was very happy to see that. He's never dedicated to me before. What?
Sorry, what did you say?
It's dedicated to us.
Did you say I never had a dedication before?
From Stephen King, no, not personally.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably yeah, no, he's dedicated constant reader plenty of times.
You know, I have to say, I feel like so much of my first read through on this series was clouded by my desire to finish it, especially at this point, I think, because like we're still only, we only finished part 1, but I mean, I think this might have been one of my favorite read throughs, which is like, it's just exciting and there's a lot going on and we're getting there and,
it didn't want to stop. It was real hard to stop. I actually read 10 pages into the next one. I was like, no, stop. You're going to talk about shit you couldn't. Like, I could tell already I was going to end up talking about shit that I shouldn't be. So,
like knowing, reading it through for a different purpose this time, I think this book might be my favorite of the series. I'll have to see how I feel once I get to the end. But
it's my favorite. I'm a big fan of the novels after this too. Like Allie, if what I did was read the graphic novels after book 7, because it fills in some holes.
Got it. Like
Jericho Hill.
Yeah. Well, and I've been meaning to look into the graphic novels, and I know like McKay's has some of them, but I don't think they have all of them. So I was trying to find like a not terribly priced box set, but I haven't been able to find one.
There's an omnibus, however the fuck you say that, somewhere that has like the first 6. And they never actually finished. They just kind of peter out. I think somewhere in Drawing of the 3, they stopped publishing them. Mm-hmm. So you can get up to that, like halfway through Drawing of the 3 with graphic novels. But in this one, he didn't do a lot of talking in the beginning. He was like, all right, let's get to it. I think because this was no beginning, he just kept writing from the Calla to, straight through Song of Susanna.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say we had all of Song of Susanna for the boring stuff, so.
The boring stuff is definitely over. I mean, yeah, this whole book is like I said, we gotta go slow because it's one thing after another. So, where do we start? Callahan and the vampires.
Rest in peace, Callahan. But it was a pretty awesome way to die.
Yeah.
I like how he fucked him. He's like, you ain't getting me.
And he got his retribution. He got his, I almost said power. I guess it is power. I don't know. His god back.
So Barlow's dead, right?
I
had a moment there where I was wondering if Barlow was going to be in the room. I'm like, no, they killed him. I'm pretty sure. Like he's dust in the wind and shit, right?
Yeah, they killed him at the end of Salem's Lot.
Like Mark and Ben killed him, right?
Yeah.
The boy and the man.
No, they left, the rest of the town of vampires alive, but
that's a good point. That was not exactly a happy ending. Yeah, because they left it and then they went to Mexico and they read the newspaper for a year until they're back. I'm like, well, they didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that speaks to. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna shift the topic, so you go if you got something on this.
No, it's not important.
This whole Callahan is part of the quartet. I'm not buying it. I don't think he is. I don't see him as part of the quartet. I see him as a close ally, but not part of the core group.
Well, we've learned that quartet is more flexible than I thought it was. Apparently, it just like means anyone who like helps you.
I bet you he made him a gunslinger when we weren't looking.
I think he doesn't. He says something like that right before he dies, where he's like, "Did I finally do it?"
Yeah, like, am I finally a gunslinger by going out the way I am?
Yeah,
it's kind of sad,
right? What he cares about, dying as a gunslinger.
Apparently, he's got a lot of honor to make up, I guess.
I mean, he was a drunk priest. Who doesn't know one of them? I don't feel like he was that awful of a person. And like
ordinary circumstances.
I don't think you need to beat yourself up too much about that. You tried. You just, hey, you didn't believe in God, so I can't really blame you on that one. He believed in him. He just didn't believe it enough. Like his faith wasn't strong enough. Wasn't that the problem?
Yeah, I think so. I think he doubted it, or he like ran from the fight, or he wasn't sure, or something like that.
You almost have to read Salem's Lot, like before the Kala, after Wizard and Glass.
Well, because he makes a comment where he's like, "Where I faltered before, and started to run." He's like, "This time I stood my ground."
Yeah. Like this time I actually cast aside my totem of like acting like I believe and actually believe.
In what?
Himself?
And God, I don't know. Whatever helps him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Well, the white talks to him, right? Whatever that means. You never really see Callahan's calling God gay.
Weird for a priest to just be like,
screw it. But instead of saying so when they met Harrigan, it was God talking to him, right? But now it's Gan talking to him. So he did a quick shift over there. Although, wait,
what do you mean?
The God bomb guy. I'm looking at. So the first thing that happens is the voice of the white talks to him, and he's calling the white Gan instead of God. Too great to be called God, I think is what he says. Right? That's what he says, which is okay. Most priests, I don't think that there's anything bigger than God.
So God is under Gan?
Yes, that's what it says right here. Yeah, I could start a religion on that. The super God. You got God, I got super God. Jake went to what he was sure would be his death, remembering two things. Rolling to shame. His true father had said, "What? Get the fuck out of here." I feel so bad for Jake because he is like, yeah, when they reunite, he's like, I don't know, he says father or something. And Roland's like, wow, do you say so? He's like, hell yeah. Like, well, you don't have many other choices. Either that or the TV executive doing coke that's in a different year.
Different realm of existence.
He's in a different, level or whatever you call it. Different Earth, right?
Yeah.
Jake's world is not Prime World. Do we have a name for Prime World yet, Amber?
Key World.
Key World. Yeah. So is that important? No, it is important because what happens in Steve. Well, yeah, it should be called King's World, right? Because it's that he's the one. Stephen King lives in the main world.
But it's right?
Well, they have this like it's like the stupidest logic. I even wrote a note about it. They mention it where it's like, this is the key world because this is the only world where Stephen King is in, and even if it's not, all the other worlds still don't matter. And I'm like, well, that's convenient.
Right?
Yeah.
They know that's the only world he's in
We're just gonna because that's what they said.
because he wrote it, and so therefore it is. Yeah, that wasn't even if it's not. Too bad. Well, after 7 books of this shit, he's probably
He's
alignment guy who was probably calling him every 10 minutes. You're like, no, you can't say that. You fucked that one up, and this one's wrong, and this one over here, and so I forget what the whole. I love the whole Dixie Pig. Like, I would love to see that happen. I was very visual when I was reading it. That's a good thing.
Well, it seems kind of crazy that, like, I mean, maybe it's probably hard to get even into the back room of that place, but I'm like, wait, so it's just a door that you open down to a staircase that eventually goes into Fedek? Like, that seems insane.
Was the door?
Yeah, it was like, like they walked through a door. I had to go back and look it up because I'm like, wait, how did they get here again?
It was like in the back of a pantry. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
I think we've done that before, or again.
Well, right.
11/22/63 alley. The time traveling door was like in the back of the pantry in the kitchen.
The bottom of a staircase.
Yeah, like if you looked, you wouldn't make it, but if you like look straight ahead and just started walking down, you would get there. It was one of those things.
Got ya.
But again, I would imagine not many people are just sauntering in past all of the low men and the Taheen and the type 1 vampires.
I
Right.
don't know. I feel like people might be able to saunter in past that warthog cook guy that like didn't care about anything other than making food.
Well, that's true. But at that
He's
point,
mad.
everyone else.
He's like, "Hey, you killed my employee, but now you step in and you start making that shit." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't saunter very far, but I could see a tourist or two. I mean, wouldn't the door be locked? Was the door locked, or did they just open it and walk in? I don't remember. But they just opened it and walked in. But they had the turtle in their hand, and I like the first thing Callahan said. He's like, "Is that Matoran?" It is, isn't it? Like, oh, Callahan's expanding his space. But
Where are you talking about where they could just saunter into the kitchen?
Well, when they
the front door. The front door.
In the Dixie Pig.
Oh.
Like, what is it ostensibly? Is it a restaurant? Is it what's the front? I'm not sure.
Well,
it's a meat shop, I guess. No pun intended.
I don't know about y'all, but like in reading this, when I read Dixie Pig, I thought Piggly Wiggly, like the grocery store. So I was real confused when it was like a restaurant.
Oh, is that I don't eat. Is that a grocery chain?
Yeah, it's a grocery chain in the South.
I don't go there a lot. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't even make that connection. Well, then why did he pick? Well, he's from Maine. Maybe he didn't make that connection either. Although he does have a house in Florida, so he said he turned 65 and it was required. But the whole scene, like, so you walk in and got like a bunch of type 1 vampires. So he's like, "Whoa, here, check this turtle out," and he stands up on the table, jumps up on the table like he's 19 years old or something.
Well, it's not the vampires don't care about the turtle. It's the low men, I think, right? Or is it the Taheen? Or both? I don't remember.
I think the type 1s care, but the grandfathers, and I like how they're called grandfathers, don't. They're like, "What is that nonsense? Come here, because I'm gonna eat you."
Wait, grandfathers are type 1s.
No.
Yeah.
Type ones are the low.
No,
I
they're
mean,
not.
basically.
Those are
No,
the
no,
type
type
threes.
3.
Oh,
Type
okay.
3 were the ones that Callahan was killing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it backwards. Okay. So then, yes, the type threes and the low men, I think, are affected by the Sculpida. And the low men are just basically type threes that didn't become vampires. I don't. Well, no, low men are like Tahine, I think, right?
I don't know. Are they Tahine or are they type 3 vampires? I thought that's kind of what they were.
Maybe
I don't know.
I think they're Tahine because what in Bobby's thing, aren't they like wearing masks and shit? Like you can see their skin moving or something in Hearts and Atlantis.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and they were one of the ones that had like the holes in their head, aren't they?
Tahine or the Loman?
Yeah.
You mean the red thing? Did they?
Yeah.
How are they just walking around fucking Newport, Rhode Island, wherever they were? I forget where they were. Like bleeding holes in their head. Nobody's saying anything.
Well, isn't that what the masks are for?
I thought the masks were for because they had feather heads and stuff like that. That's what I always assumed. I just assumed they were Tahine, but I don't know that at this point, I guess. That's why, because, yeah, I was about to say because in the movie, and I stopped myself. I'm not going to even go there. Maybe they're, yeah, I guess they're a mix of both. But if they were type one, type threes, wouldn't they be eating people? Instead, like, well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm overthinking that. Wouldn't it be a rash of missing people in that little town that Bobby was from? If the type low men are type threes,
You would think so, at least.
they can't make new ones. They can just eat people. Do they do the numbing thing? Or is that, yeah, that's the type threes, right? Where you like don't know they're draining your blood because that's what happened to what's his friend's name that he watched them like feeding on. I can't remember his name. Miguel, not Miguel, something like that though. Wasn't it something like Spanishy?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Am I not supposed to say that? Was that bad?
No, it's fine. I just don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anyway, so you got them, and so he's up on a table, and they're all like, "Wow, that's cool." And then Roland has to jump into his head because he's telling Jake to get the fuck out, and Jake won't listen. And the only way he listened was because Callahan was like, "They're going to eat Oi in front of you if you don't leave right now." You're like, "Oh."
I didn't understand if that meant that he was like finally shaken out of it, or if he was like, oh, I don't want them to kill Oi, and so now I care about my life or whatever.
Yeah, shaken out of what? Like, I don't understand the daze he was in. He was just, I guess, shock.
Well, was it a daze or was he like, no, I'm not going to leave you to deal with these alone.
Right.
We're not going to just let you die.
We'll die together.
Okay.
But he cares more.
Are you there? It sounded like you cut off.
Me?
No, Allie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, screen went dark.
No, see, I haven't got you on that in a while. What was the last thing you said? I think you cut off at the end.
So I was saying like, well, he's telling Callahan basically like, no, I'm not gonna. Well, he doesn't say it, but it sounds like he's like, I don't want you to die alone. Let me help you with this or something. But then finally he's like, oh, they're gonna kill Oi. Oh, I care more about Oi than you. Okay, bye.
Right.
Well, I didn't think of it that way, but okay.
That's kind of where I was like, oh, not Oi. All right, you're right. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, I figured Allie would be all about that.
I mean, I don't disagree, but
Yeah, as long as Oi lives, it doesn't matter. I don't know if Well, he was trying to save both of them, I guess. But then when Roland fucking screamed at him out of Callahan's mouth, I guess he was like, "All right,
Well, that's
I get
also
it."
true. Yeah, it was an order. Like you gotta go.
I'm like, "Go now, Jake." That's why I like the audiobooks because you hear their like voices.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mini, like low budget play. Um, so Jake, I guess what finally gets the hint. Oh no, I was talking about the scene. Well, and then what behind the tapestry, right? There's the grandfathers, and for some reason, oh, he gets a glimpse of, or Callahan gets a glimpse of them, and then the tapestry comes down when they start uh, going after Callahan. Is that right? Doesn't Jake get like a full view of what they're doing, and they're like eating like babies and all kind of stuff? And the one guy has like a leg in his mouth or something.
Does Jake see or does just Callahan?
I mean, it's good, but doesn't it like whatever the covering or something come down there like at the end? But anyway, I love the like the thought of these, I don't know, old vampires sitting around a table like a medieval banquet, just eating the kids. And why are they all men? How come there's no like type 3 women vampires? I mean type 1.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, well, I guess they call them grandfathers. I don't know. Yeah.
See, or it's the grandmas. I feel like they would be much more reasonable to deal with.
We had the also the brief stint with the bugs, the doctor bugs. I forgot about that.
Well, I was reading that and I wrote a note. Are those doctor bugs? And the next page, like the doctor bugs, like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So I was very excited because
And then
I was like,
I
yes.
was like, this is what I was made for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how Jake was like, "Oh no," Jake's just like, I'm fine, bro." Like,
Yeah, Oi was like, no, you don't understand. This is what I do. So I got this. Like, there's only like 500 of them. I got this. And speaking of which, I guess we'll get there. But that whole body switching thing was odd. I was like, whoa.
weird.
I
I
did not
loved
remember
it though.
What?
I loved that so much.
I was picturing like a 5-foot Oi walking on his hind legs, trying to be Jake. Like, it was, yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, and Jake's trying to talk, and all I can do is bark. Odd. I mean, why didn't he just do what the low men did and fucking shoot the shit? Because I guess he couldn't see the
The
sensor.
protector.
Yeah,
Like he didn't know where they were.
like it was like he knew it was fake, but he couldn't. And if it was I didn't understand that whole thing. If it was projectors, how was it hurting them? There was something more to it than that.
Well, it's what do they call it? Magic of the old people or something?
Beware the mind trap.
But when he gets there and he's like cursing it, he's like, the stupid old people and their magic.
I would probably feel well. I kind of feel that way because we've never met anything. Now, granted, maybe it worked a lot better 10,000 years ago, but we haven't seen anything that's been helpful. So far, old people equals not good.
Look at John Cullen and Aaron Deepno.
Yeah, the sculpt. Oh, there it is. The sculpt, and I don't know how to say this because of the audiobook. The sculpta tumbled to the red rug, bounced beneath one of the tables, and there, like a certain paper boat, some of you may remember, passes out of this tale forever.
Yeah.
The grandfathers held back, as did the type 3s. So the low men came after Callahan first. Oh, yeah. I like how at the end he's like, you know what? I should have just let her kill that baby from the beginning. Oops, my bad.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfucker. We're going through all this because of you. I don't know. I'm assuming even if you tried to kill it, something would have happened that you wouldn't have been able to. But still. So that, one of the last thoughts in his life was, so like I was wrong the whole time. Because then, yeah, because that changes everything. So, I like how Callahan says "hi" to Roland in his head. People do a lot of talking in their head.
Yeah, I thought that was awfully convenient that Susanna and Eddie have this like telepathic connection now. I'm like, oh, good, you guys can just send messages to each other. I'm not talking about like when they appear, but like the fact that they know what's going on.
I'm sorry. Do you not have a Dogen? I do. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there could have been a different way to do that. There's a lot of convenient things happening. Yeah, when did they? Because that would be a version of the touch, and up to this point, neither one of them has even come close to anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Well, so they are at a place where the barrier between worlds remains thin, maybe thin-y, as it were. So maybe they're able to talk across the wall because it's the places between worlds are thin under the Dixie pig there. I don't know. I'm making that up, but I'm trying to give him some credit other than he's like tired of writing it at this point. I don't know.
Right.
Do you get tired of writing it? Probably not. Because then he goes back and writes it again. He writes everything twice, so I can imagine he gets tired of writing it.
Tired of writing it or tired of making it make logical sense?
That he might be tired. I was like, man, I don't even care. So it didn't make sense. Yeah, it's like, what did he say? And if it doesn't, that doesn't matter. Like, there you go. How very King Ex Machina. There's a lot of that. But anyway, I mean, all that. I feel like I'm criticizing. All that being said, I can't stop reading the damn thing, and I was very upset when I had to wait like 5 days. Because I finished on like Tuesday, I think. Like, God damn it, back to Fairy Tale. Which I had to finish before the end of the month because I already ordered my Audible version of Holly, the one that comes out in September. Like every other year, we get it right on your birthday. He likes
He's on
September.
a schedule.
Yeah, I know. He likes September for sure. Okay, so Jake goes past the warthog cook. It was the guy, the guy that told him to beware. Where did Chasset come from? That was just Mia, like, hey, Chasset.
I feel like it's been mentioned before.
Because that's what Mia. Wait, did we talk about that? We talked about that, right? Did Mia
What?
Mordred being born in that scene?
We have not talked about it yet. No.
Oh, oops. Okay, never mind. Wait. So, but do we know that?
We've read it.
Right. That's not what I mean. Chasset is the word Mia told Susan when she was like, "I'll help you if I."
Susanna.
Yeah. There's too many of them in his world. But it just said chess. Oh, she spoke it in his head. Oh yeah, right. So convenient again.
Well, they were it was the wave, whatever the hell that means. So, I mean, I guess at least it's like a sort of explanation. Like the wave of this was lifting them, and it brought Roland and Eddie briefly to where Jake and Susanna were.
Oh, the wave was weird. I thought he was being metaphorical the entire time, and it was kind of literal.
Yeah.
Like the truck became weightless, and like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I like how her logic of like, oh, the floor mat being there makes it real, and I'm like, why? Why does a floor mat make it real?
If they were trying to trick you, they wouldn't think of those tiny details.
Right. I guess.
And the keys might be floating in the air, but not the floor mat. It takes a lot of the touch to make a floor mat move. All right, cool. 42 minutes. So, see you next week. Everybody say bye.
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 Bye.